15 largest ships on our oceans today produce more pollution than all of the cars in the world. And it's all because they burn this. This is heavy fuel oil. It's the stuff that doesn't even make the grade into diesel cars. And because of this, international shipping is responsible for around 1 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions every year. To put that into perspective, if international shipping were a country, it would be the 6th most polluting country in the world. Needless to say, international shipping is going to have to undergo a radical transformation towards the new era of zero-emission vessels. And we at Unitrove are ready to lead the way. The person to the left is my father, and he's my mentor. He's a veteran of the gas and energy industry and worked for British Gas for a number of decades. And the person to the right is myself, and I'm an Oxford engineering graduate with a financial background and a passion for robotics. And we have a great team behind us, as well as an advisory board. Now, for the ship owners that are looking to invest in the next generation of zero-emission vessels, they face one massive problem. They have nowhere to be able to fuel these ships because the infrastructure just simply does not exist. So we're going to have to solve that problem for them. And we're going to be able to do that by providing zero-emission fueling infrastructure at every port in the world. And we're kicking off our campaign by developing the world's first liquid hydrogen fueling facility, which we actually want to showcase at the UN COP26 conference in Glasgow. We've already been actually getting quite a lot of media attention for this, given that we actually announced this just last week. So what will the solution actually look like? Well, we rewind back to 2015, and this was actually one of the turning points in our company. And in a grant-funded project commissioned by Shell and SABIC, we actually built the UK's first LNG fueling facility for 2 purpose-built ships. And this technology is actually not massively different from liquid hydrogen itself. Let's just see if we can play a video so you can have a look at how this actually operates. So here the pipes are very cold and it's pumping the fuel into the tank. Now, in 2017, we looked to improve the technology. We made it smaller, more flexible, with the idea that it could be rapidly deployed within minutes. And this solution here was actually sold to a Shell Keppel joint venture in Singapore. And ultimately, we have plans to further develop the technology by wanting to incorporate more artificial intelligence, blockchain technology for the next generation of autonomous infrastructures. Now, this is an image of our system. The market is worth $120 billion now. How do we know that? Well, we've done a lot of research. We've even broken down the ships by the amounts of fuel that they take and also the amount of value of that share. So we see that container ships have the largest market share, but we also actually want to target the ferries. Let's just have a simple example. Here's one of the biggest container ships. It takes 164 tons of fuel per day, and that daily cost is some $82,000 or $30 million in the year. Now, in terms of revenue streams, there's a few different ways we could do this. We would ideally like to provide zero-emission fueling as a service. And that means that we can also provide sort of leasing of the equipment, supply services, consulting, training, or we could simply sell the technology. In terms of competition, we've got 5 different categories. We've got the air gas suppliers, and then we have the energy majors, and we also have the equipment suppliers as well. And those are broken both into newcomers and sort of major existing market entries. In terms of being able to combat this, we actually have experience in involvement in national standards and regulations. So that gives us a bit of an edge there. And ultimately, we want to scale up. So we want to supply this fuel and we want to develop this technology in a much larger way. And we have a route to IPO that we hope to get to by 2030. Of course, we need to focus on the Sustainable Development Goals, and SDG 7 is one of our biggest ones that we want to hit. There's a specific interest on developing countries that have a new opportunity here in this green hydrogen revolution. That's me, and I'm done. Thank you very much.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Stephen. And now I think it's time for some questions. So I'll let, brilliant. I can see Hugo's hand is up. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Stephen. I mean, this is definitely like super interesting, and it's like a new way to revolutionize and like use like new resources. You were talking about the use of new technology within like what you do, such as AI and blockchain. So how would you see this kind of like playing out in your kind of like growth as a company?
Yeah, well, I think the first stage was actually just being able to deploy liquid hydrogen as a starting point, and nobody's even done that yet. So that's our first starting point. But we do see that there will be a future of what I call smarter infrastructures. So we see that blockchain, for example, could be used to have almost like infrastructures that can self-diagnose and also repair themselves. And also in terms of maintenance, there will be some sort of validation process by which engineers who are validating it, we can say for sure this valve has come from this place and has been installed by this person on this date. In terms of the artificial intelligence side, we see possibilities of autonomous vessels. And so maybe we also want to increase the safety by implementing this kind of technology, like with robotic fueling arms and things like this. But of course, the fundamental thing is make sure that the infrastructure is there first. And then obviously we can then improve the technology and improve the cost performances with this innovation.
Awesome, thank you so much. This is definitely something that we can help you with at Digital Catapult. So I'll ping you an email. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Great to hear that. And Andra, I think I saw your hand up, so I would like to invite you to ask the question.
Sure. I think what you guys are doing and your goal is quite impressive, right? To try to address a global major issue and try to decarbonize the maritime sector. That is a huge ambition, I would say. Would you please walk us, not through all your barriers, because I know you have identified some barriers within your business plan, but on your main barrier that you foresee?
I think the biggest barrier that actually the hydrogen industry sees is the fact that green hydrogen costs a lot of money relative to the traditional fossil fuels. So I think there's obviously a lot of cost projections that by 2030, the goal is to get hydrogen or green hydrogen to below $2 per kilogram. It's not there today, but obviously we are looking at what actually happened with the solar industry and how the cost of renewable energy had shot down over the past 20 years or so, and still falling because hydrogen is supporting also the offtake of renewables as well. So that's probably one of the biggest things, but I think also it will be supplemented by regulations. Maybe fuels will be banned in the future. We're already seeing from the transport decarbonisation plan that there are bans for diesel trucks by 2040. For shipping, for sure, it's going to have to do the same.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.